During the preseason, Cunha was expected to become a quality addition to Amorim'S 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1 system. The Portuguese coach tested him in multiple positions, but most of the time, Cunha played as one of the two number 10s behind the striker. This role allowed him to fully exploit his dribbling ability, creativity, and capacity to create breakthroughs. At the Premier League Summer Series, Cunha had his first matches partnering with Bryan Mbeumo. The two displayed remarkable chemistry with sharp one-touch combinations, creating a flexible and unpredictable attacking line. The most standout feature of Cunha's play was his directness. He always sought to receive the ball with his back to goal, ready to turn and break into spaces between the lines. This style brought a significant difference compared to what Manchester United showed last season, which lacked explosiveness and direct attacking threat. However, in the Premier League opener against Arsenal, coach Ruben Amorim made a surprising decision. He deployed Matheus Cunha as the highest forward instead of the expected Benjamin Sesko. So, what was the reasoning behind this choice? Firstly, Arsenal are renowned for their solid defense led by William Saliba and Gabriel. Using a traditional target man might not have been highly effective. Instead, Cunha, with his fiery and unpredictable style, created chaos and caused difficulties. For Arsenal's centre-backs, he constantly moved, escaped marking, and created spaces, giving the opposing defenders no time to breathe. Additionally, when Cunha dropped deeper to receive the ball, he pulled opposing centre-backs with him, creating large gaps behind from Mbeumo and Bruno Fernandes to exploit. Although he didn't score, Cunha delivered an outstanding performance, with for shots and for successful dribbles, proving he could take on the striker role while maintaining his threat. But most importantly, it was his contributions to the overall play. Despite playing as a striker, Cunha still showed excellent link-up with teammates. He could drop back for one-touch combinations or play splitting passes from Mbeumo or Bruno Fernandes to exploit. This made Manchester United's attack far more unpredictable and flexible compared to their rigid style. It can be said that using Cunha as a striker was a tactical calculation by Amorim to exploit the opponent's weaknesses and bring surprise. Though the match ended in defeat, Cunha's performance offered great hope for Manchester United fans, showing he is not only a versatile player, but could become a key figure in Amorim's revolution. Having two left-footed players on the same flank was an intriguing idea. It could create variety in opening shooting angles and passing lines, but also risked overlap if not operated properly. Amorim prepared for Mbeumo and Amad Diallo to feature together, but the reality on the pitch showed several issues. Mbeumo, in his role as a right-leaning number 10, was accustomed to cutting inside to shoot with his left foot or play through balls. Meanwhile, when brought on, Diallo played as a right wing-back. The problem was that Diallo isn't a traditional wing-back hugging the touchline. He often cut inside to find space for ball handling. This was the same area Mbeumo was operating in. As a result, the right flank became overly congested. Several moments saw both players standing on the same horizontal line, causing Mbeumo to lose his creative freedom while Diallo couldn't fully showcase his dribbling ability. Amorim clearly had reasons for wanting to utilize this left-footed duo, but to maximize their potential, he will need to refine their roles, especially Diallo's. Amorim could tap into Diallo's connectivity rather than having him and Mbeumo move along the same vertical axis, rotating positions. When Mbeumo cuts inside, Diallo drops to receive, or vice versa could help. Some top teams have excelled with two left-footed players on the same flank by creating complementary rhythm, with one specializing in breaking through and the other facilitating or laying off passes. Cunha's case carries a different flavor. From the first half, he performed solidly as a number 10, diligently dropping deep to link with midfielders, driving the ball powerfully and confidently, sometimes holding it with his back to goal to set the attacking tempo. Even without a typical striker ahead, Cunha maintained rhythm through wide movement and intelligent positioning. But when Benjamin Sesko came on, Cunha's role became even clearer and more effective. Cunha's ability to hold up play, dominate the box, and press aggressively gave Sesko a perfect platform. Now every pass, layoff, or turn from Cunha had a specific target. He could comfortably drop to receive without worrying about losing connection, as Sesko was always ready up top. When Sesko stretched the defense, Cunha gained freedom to choose moments to penetrate or deliver decisive passes. This was truly the polished Cunha that Amorim envisioned: mobile, creative, and a pivotal hinge in every attack. Cunha and Mbeumo's performances clearly left bright spots, showing Amorim is on the right path in shaping their roles. The issue is that more time is needed for refinement. At Wolves and Brentford, Cunha and Mbeumo were seen as the #1 stars in their attacking systems, with most balls funneled to them for handling, creating chances, and carrying the main attacking burden. That style made them big fish in small ponds, but in a more fiercely competitive environment, they must accept smaller roles, sharing the spotlight with other stars. The question is whether Cunha and Mbeumo can transition from their old habits to a more collective style. Amorim wants Manchester United to control matches with patience, building play firmly from the back and finding spaces through orchestrated group moves rather than relying on individual moments. Especially against teams with disciplined, deep-lying defenses, relying on one or two standout individuals isn't enough. Manchester United need to see both Cunha and Mbeumo coordinating, interchanging, and leveraging Sesko's presence as an aerial anchor and wall. Only then can the Red Devils break down the thick defensive walls that many mid-tier or smaller Premier League clubs employ. Cunha, with his ability to hold the ball under pressure and break through from the left or central areas, will need to release earlier, play more one-touch to set the tempo for teammates. Mbeumo, used to off-ball runs and quick finish at Brentford, must also improve his connectivity instead of waiting for long counter-attacking passes. In reality, this duo has proven they can carry the attack at their former clubs. But at Manchester United, what fans want is synchronization becoming to cogs in a machine rather than lone stars. Compared to Sesko, this striker is clearly seen as the new central figure. Sesko can play the big fish with his physique and hold a play while also supporting teammates, stretching defenses for Cunha and Mbeumo to exploit. The harmony between these three is the key to Manchester United regaining their image as a team that imposes rather than falling into last season's pattern of stagnant, individual-reliant attacks. In other words, Manchester United need more than one or two standout players. They need a balanced, flexible, and cohesive attacking trio. If Cunha and Mbeumo aren't ready to shed their big fish in a small pond habits, they risk becoming small fish in a big pond, overwhelmed by Old Trafford's pressure. But if they embrace change and blend into Amorim'S system, all three could open a new chapter for the Red Devils, attack a unit capable of breaking low blocks rather than relying on magic from a single star. The most evident aspect of Matheus Cunha and Bryan Mbeumo's debut against Arsenal was their natural chemistry. One loves receiving with his back to goal, turning and charging straight into the center. The other opts to hug the flank, accelerate, then cut into the box. When these two pieces played together, Manchester United's attack became vibrant and far less predictable. Their one-touch combinations and sudden positional switches caused moments of disarray in Arsenal's usually solid defense. Cunha proactively pulled center-backs out of position, Mbeumo instantly darted into the resulting space, and vice versa. Mbeumo drew defenders, opening room for Cunha to dribble. This was the kind of coordination United previously only dreamed of. However, when both played as number 10s in Ruben Amorim's system, Bruno Fernandes immediately faced a new puzzle. For years, his most familiar role was the creative soul just outside the box, delivering line-breaking passes or unleashing sudden long-range shots. But if Amorim decides to place both Mbeumo and Cunha behind the striker, that space is essentially occupied. The logical solution is to drop Bruno deeper into midfield to link play alongside Casemiro or Kobbie Mainoo, turning him from a pure number 10 into an attacking number 8. This is clearly not ideal, as Bruno has long shown he can lose balance when tasked with additional defensive and physical duels. This situation exposed an intriguing paradox. Bruno is the captain, the longtime core, yet now faces to new signings who embody the modern pressing number 10 archetype better. Picture Manchester United pressing high. Cunha and Mbeumo are ready to slice vertically and horizontally like twin daggers, while Bruno often opts to observe and deliver a precise through ball. That approach remains useful, but isn't as seamless as the all-around mobility of the new duo. Against Arsenal, Bruno still led the team with 5 key passes, but there was a sense he and Casemiro were detached from the opponent's intensity. While the most fluid moments came from Cunha and Mbeumo, the question is whether Amorim wants Bruno to remain the system's core or accept yielding the stage to younger, more dynamic players. If Bruno drops deeper, United gain a creative midfield passer but lose his familiar explosiveness near the box. If he stays as a number 10, one of the new signings must sit out, meaning less of the pressing strength Amorim prioritizes.